the Daures Green Hydrogen Village. I do actually also have a video, so I'd like to start with the video and then can go into the presentation.
Shall we dim the lights, please?
From the Daures Green Hydrogen Village. So we are a recipient of funding which has been allocated to us by the German Research and Education Ministry on the back of a joint communique of intent signed between both the German and Namibian governments, with the implementers of this funding being SASCOM. So we are squarely on track with respect to our progress and our construction. And I'll just speak briefly about the project in its current form, the current work we're doing, and where we envisage heading to. Okay, so some of these, well, all of these images actually are actual images from the site. So the first time we actually went to site, or I went to site, we noticed, some of these trees that, were lying within a veins that split off of a river downstream. And that's actually where we ended up drilling boreholes. So there was a recent media report which spoke to some of the water requirements on site and the absence of water, which we did correct with a media statement, but I can confirm that our water requirements per day are 96 cubes per day, of which only 10 to 12 cubes will be used in hydrogen production. So this is a pilot facility. It's on a small scale, hence the water requirements are significantly lower. The balance of the water will be used to support operations as well as an agricultural facility. And there was also, and I, to no fault of Denver, I think it's probably on myself, that there are these misconceptions. I also just have to re-clarify with respect to the location of this project. This project is not necessarily in Greece. We are actually 90 kilometers away from Greece. We are, and we are 130 kilometers away from Henties Bay. And I can also confirm that within a 50-kilometer radius, there are no inhabitants within this project area. So the nearest settlements with respect to this project are actually about 80 to 90 kilometers away. But this area does fall under a traditional authority as communal land, which is the Daures Daman Traditional Authority, as well as the Namaseb Conservancy. So just a bit about that project structure and how that actually happened, or how we've come to where we are. So we've engaged with the traditional authority as well as the Namaseb Conservancy. We've followed, all legislative processes, including going to the necessary land boards, ministerial approvals, and we've obtained a land lease agreement for about 25 years with an option to renew for 50 years. And the current project structure is that 10% of this project shareholding actually sits with community groups. So about 7.5% with the Daures Daman Traditional Authority and 2.5% with the Namaseb Conservancy. Over and above that, we do have commitments to both of these community groups around employment, wherein 50% of our employment is to be sourced from the Daures constituency, and 30% of all activities with respect to construction of this facility are to be allocated to SMEs from the Daures constituency. And this is how we are trying to ensure that locals are also beneficiating from their resource within their natural area and ecosystem. Okay, so just a bit about this project. So some of the project objectives include the sustainable production of green hydrogen and green ammonia, which we will be producing. Of course, green hydrogen applications. We will be actually going to the market with a research call, of which we hope to encourage lots of Namibians to participate in, which will include the conversion of generators to run on hydrogen. We will also be evidencing sustainable production of carbon-free agriculture. We do have, and we are in the process of looking at a business case, which we've actually already completed, which would lead to the production of ammonia sulfate fertiliser. And this would be in our phase 1, which could cater for about 30% of the ammonia sulfate fertiliser market in Namibia. And then over and above that, we wish to demonstrate sustainable jobs, a sustainable green economy with a sustainable ecosystem, as well as research opportunities for local and international students. So participating institutions in this project include the University of Namibia as well as the University of Stuttgart. So if I can just speak about the phasing for this project, and this project, it evolves quite quickly. That this slide is actually outdated probably as of today. So with respect to phase one, it is fully funded. We'll be producing about 100 tons of ammonia, so it's about 270 kgs per day of green ammonia. Ammonia is isn't the friendliest compound out there. As such, there is that intention to start to produce ammonia sulfate fertilizer, which can then be used to cater to the local market. For subsequent phases, and I look at this project in two pieces, where we are currently and actively busy with the project management of phase one. We've finalized the appointments and the procurement of a lot of our long lead items, and we anticipate actually being done with the construction of phase one by the end of February 2024. With the hope and the intention to commission this facility in March 2024 and hopefully delivering Namibia's first batch of green hydrogen and green ammonia. But that must be said that although this project right now is deeply rooted in a research element and component, and that's why we are really transparent and with some of the work that we're doing. We do host monthly seminars where we are trying to assist Namibians and take Namibians through the steps that we ourselves have taken with respect to project development, but at the same time also creating content such as what has been shared. This project does, though, have an industrial and commercial component to it. We are also busy with the necessary feasibility studies and optimization studies that lead to a phase 3 and a phase 4, which would lead to industrial level production of green hydrogen and green ammonia from the Daures Green Hydrogen Village. Current estimates from some of the consultants we're working with, I think if I had to really shout one out right now, I'd speak about Finchner, who are German specialists in hydrogen and green ammonia, is that the estimation is that this site could actually produce in excess of about 750,000 tons of green ammonia and about in excess of about 2 gigawatts of renewable energy. So, as time goes, we intend to, tie up all these business cases together, and I'll be eagerly listening to the next slot, which speaks about all the amazing financing opportunities that do exist for projects such as these within a Namibian context. Hence, I was really pleased to actually see the slide that James had put up quite earlier with respect to SDG 1 and how this will open up, opportunities for financing for such projects like these. As you know, you definitely would want to not only syndicate or raise financing for, a project like this on the international market, but you would want local players to also participate as well. Okay. The next slide I actually just wanted to speak to, if I do have a second, was just to talk about some of the cool stuff that we're doing with respect to business development. So we have obtained an offtake agreement for about 40,000 tons, but it's becoming more and more evident that this number probably has to increase by a tenfold, because the reality is, to achieve economies of scale, our next phase is most likely going to have to produce at a minimum about 350,000 tons of green ammonia. James spoke earlier to an opportunity to actually, change the narrative and become an energy exporter on the back of this site and on the back of our aspirations to achieve base load production of renewable energy at a cost-effective rate. We have also we received interest from some SAPP players around the potential export of energy. And this ties in quite closely to what James alluded to a little earlier. And then there's always questions around where is the local offtake with respect to this. We're fortunate to be close to a mine which is looking to develop an asset and produce green lithium. We are looking at business cases that speak to the decarbonization of this mine, the use of hydrogen in its mining processes. As you know, this mine has aspirations to attract a greenium or green premium for its metal. for its metals. And then lastly, collaboration with the WFP. And this is, of course, to support some of the WFP efforts within a Namibian context around, the provision of agri, where Namibia is still a large importer of a lot of agricultural produce, as well as fertilizer to support some of their efforts in supporting farmers within a Namibian context. WFP, the World Food Programme. Yeah. So a lot of work is going into developing these business cases for these subsequent phases, and we definitely do look forward to delivering on an industrial commercial project in due course. But in the meantime, this project is has a deeply rooted nature in research, and as such, we also look forward to welcoming, hordes of students from the University of Namibia as well as the University of Stuttgart, where you can actually start to get tangible, actual experience handling some of these, chemicals and compounds, and lead to capacity building within a local Namibian context. Thank you.